Welcome back to another episode of the Playbook podcast. Intermittent to say the least. I think it's kind of every 2 weeks at the moment now, but I am convicted to not let this podcast dry out because it has brought me so much meaning and it's documented my full journey up until now, and it is going to document my journey for a long period of time. The only thing that would stop that is me and my ability to not procrastinate doing it. It's not like it takes a lot of my time, but I just feel like sometimes there's not that much I couldn't be speaking about. So much of the past few months has been really putting my head down and really just kind of focusing on work professionally and then performance outside of it in the sense of the triathlon training that I've been doing. Anything outside of that has really taken a back seat, and it's something that has caused probably more internal conflict than I've had for a long period of time, in a sense of sacrificing things that recharge me, sacrificing things that I do in my spare time, and filling each minute of the day, each minute of the week with some sort of productivity has almost kind of taken me away from being in the present and kind of just being quite unconscious about the whole thing. This week has been good. The past 2 weeks have been good. Massive improvements over the past few months. On the outside, definitely you would assume that, my life isn't going in an upward trajectory. Really positive things as of late in terms of career opportunity within the company over the next few months, all going to plan. And I'm taking a lot of passion from really growing and really kind of helping grow that company and taking far more of a active role than a passive role in contributing towards the company's overall success. The past week has been interesting to say the least. I think winding up before Christmas was massive, and there was a lot of things that had to be done, a lot of conversation that had to be had within work, and a lot of people that their future might be uncertain within the company, and making that decision and having that conversation with people and ultimately letting them go is not something that I'd really prepared myself for, and it's not something that you can train somebody to be able to handle, how to fire somebody. I hate having to let anybody go because I see it as a massive waste of time and energy and resources up until that point. Some people kind of almost celebrate it and kind of enjoy letting people go, as in like that we have such a strict environment of how to expect people to perform. I don't really see it that way. Like, I think it's our fault, it's our mistake, it's our fuck up for this to be even happening. Maybe this person wasn't the right fit, so why are they even sitting in this office to begin with? So a lot of uncomfortable conversations over the past week, gearing up for some goals for 2025 professionally, which reminds me that I need to set some of my own personal goals in 2025 as well. A lot of conversations around my future kind of career progression and where I see myself over the next few years. And I've highlighted the fact that I think for so long I've been running away from different stuff in my past and running away from this version of myself or this version of my father, this version of my life that I never want to have, that I've just been using the fuel of that running away and not being clear on what I'm running towards. Now, lately, it's becoming a lot more clear, and which is going to kind of lead into what I want to speak about today. The next 2 weeks, I've completely off work. It's going to be almost 16 days in total, including the weekends, which is the longest period of time that I've ever had off since I got to Dubai in February 2023. So extremely excited for that kind of time off, those reset, the recharge, the downtime. And it's why I took the decision on the 26th that I'm going to travel for 10 days on a solo trip to Bali. Now, I'm not going to find myself in Bali or anything like that, but I think solitude and completely from the noise of this city, and any other external factors other than myself is really important. I definitely kind of do spend a lot of time with myself, alone with myself in this city, but I think it's different when you're solo traveling. Well, I'm not sure yet because it's my first time, but in my head, I think even just being in the city by myself, it doesn't really feel like that I'm alone. I'm still driving myself. The voices um, are loud in a sense of what is expected to be done. And I'm always trying to fill those pockets of spaces and time with things that need to be done. If that's not within my physical kind of performance pursuit or professional performance pursuit. So I'm really looking forward to those 2 weeks off. I'm really going to use that time to connect with myself again, connect with who I am intrinsically, connect with, I'm not going to say Mother Nature, but I'm going to try and kind of explore more and kind of do more things that might be my only opportunity to do those things in a foreign country, potentially go on breathwork retreats or go for a hike in a mountain and meet some people, how I'm not sure, and just switch off and listen to myself. I think it's more about listening. It's not about just listening to myself and seeing what creeps up and getting clear about what I want from 2025. I think it will be a perfect opportunity for me. End of year trip away by myself, some solitude in order to define what I want in 2025 and probably the following years. Also take stock of one of the busiest years, the most eventful year. Like if I think what has gone on in 2024 outside of work, like, I mean, running a half marathon, a marathon, going home to Ireland. I'm looking at medals here from running, like none of those existed this time last year. Changing companies, obviously excelling within that company, moving apartments, people coming, people going, all of this shit, setting up the Run Club. Oh my God. And seeing that grow and transform, so much has happened in 2025 or 2024 and so much that I can be grateful for. So I think it's taking stock of that and saying what could happen in 2025. Because I remember this time last year being like, if as much different things happen in 2024 as they did in 2023, then I'll be shocked. And then here we are again. If there's the same amount of change in 2025 that there was in 2024, then I don't know. Like, I mean, I've progressed so much. I've developed so much. But this week was definitely a lot to do with that, and looking forward to the next few weeks and to 2025, because it's important to take stock like that. Yeah, it's just another day. Yeah, the clock's just changed and the number at the end of the date just changes by one number. But I think a lot has to be said for taking stock and resetting and kind of taking that time to look inwards and reflect and look forward to and set some more ambitious goals for yourself, because it's important to be conscious and it's important to be, what's the word? Not reactive to your external environment and happen to your day, happen to your week, happen to your months. Be intentional. That's the word. Be intentional with the goals you're setting and where you're going and the path that you're on. And this week I had a really good conversation with somebody who I used to spend a lot of time with within the men's circle, the founder of the Brotherhood UAE. Hadn't seen him for like 5 months now because that's taken a backseat. Justification was that I couldn't go to the men's circle on a Tuesday between 8 and 10 p.m. because my new bedtime was 9:30 and I was getting up at 5:30 and I was triathlon training. And then I think slowly but surely different habits slipped in a sense of meditation in the morning or journaling, which I'm back doing journaling for sure. And it was nice to meet with him. I think the last 6 months has just been, as I said, head down, just consumed in my work, obviously taking periods of my head up and kind of taking stock, but the majority was kind of week on week rolling into one another and doubling down on professional life, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I needed that, and there's definitely usefulness in it, but to what extent will that exist? So it was nice to have a chat with him, kind of get an update of where he is in his life and give him an update of where I am. He's a men's coach, so extremely interesting conversations to say the least. He gave me a book called The Way of the Superior Man, which I'm really looking forward to read and take lessons from and implement those lessons, because yeah, I think the book potentially came at the right time, and I'm excited for kind of diving deeper into that whilst I'm away, and set up myself and reintroduce myself deeper into kind of working on myself, because the work doesn't finish. I think I enjoy just kind of that just natural curiosity of working on myself, or delving deeper into why I do the things that I do, why I might operate out of the modalities that I do operate out of, and how I function. So one thing he told me was, Brian, you need a lot of things he told me. He said, Brian, you need a coach, you need a mentor, you need somebody who has walked the path in front of you to guide you and tell you, you know, where the hurdles could be, and help you see things that you won't be able to see because you're too close to the painting, that you need to take a step back, and somebody else can take that step back for you. Because I don't really have that many mentors, coaches, kind of people who are advising me of the best practices to do. I'm finding out so much by myself. In any professional environment, I'm always looking for this male masculine role of some guidance, or his mentor, or a almost father role model figure. And every time in my professional setting, I fail to find that. And on the outside, I always assumed that, okay, maybe this time, maybe it'll be this man. He seems to be in a position of power and worked hard to get there, and he seems that he would give me a lot of valuable lessons. But I'm always let down. And I think it's because I build this idea of what I'm expecting so high, because I don't know what a male role model looks like, that I'm always going to be let down, because my standards are so fucking high for other people and myself, that it's just always going to be a letdown. Nobody would be this perfect picture of what I expect in my mind. And I'm always going to be let down, so to speak. So that was something that he told me. Also, the fact that integration would be the most important thing over the next few months or next year, because I have this clear divide between my relationships and then also my professional life, of like, this is when I do this is when I do that, this is when I do this is when I do that. But it's just like this male kind of idea that, okay, I will work until, and then it will be okay, and then I can retire, and then I can rest, and then I can be sociable, and then I can enjoy relationships and be there for other people, when I don't know if that's the case. Obviously, I haven't walked the path, which is I'm going to speak about, but the goalpost would always be moving us. It's like, okay, I thought I then was going to be able to the point in time in which I can, you know, rest and be there for people, and relax and work part-time. But I think as you move up any ladder, then the problems that you're solving and the responsibilities that you have get greater and more important and larger. So I feel like that also basically what he said was, make the integration now. Like, I can be so tunnel visioned and lone wolf mentality and bearing the burden by myself and figuring it out by myself, that I sacrifice a lot of other things. And I know that is necessary in order to get to places that I need to go. But I mean, I don't have to sacrifice everything, you know? And I've sacrificed relationship. I've sacrificed the practices, the meditation, even just participating in different fucking things at the weekend, like a breathwork session or a retreat or whatever. They just haven't been on my radar. I haven't been looking for them. And it's not like I consciously ignored any of them. It's just I haven't been looking for them. So they haven't arose. It's like the red car theory. Like, I just haven't been looking for them, so that they haven't come into my conscious field. They've been there, but I just wasn't conscious about them. So that is definitely going to have to be something that's integrated into my life, because I think I can definitely do, like, wake up at 5:30 a.m. Monday to Sunday and train 9 to 10 times per week, work 50, 55 hours per week, sleep 8 hours every single night, go to bed at 9:30, and just rinse and repeat, do my run club, do all my workouts at the weekend, spend all that time. That and I'm okay with that, but I just don't know if that serves all the other parts of my life. Like, obviously, with all the other buckets, I think I'm just investing a lot into my physical and professional pursuits, and everything else is kind of going by the wayside. So, small reintroduction of things that brought me joy. So, not saying that I have to meditate for an hour every single day, and or if I don't, then it's a failure. So, it's reintroducing some things on a small basis. Something that I've had discomfort with over the past few months has been getting clear on where I'm going. So I think this comes from a multitude of factors. So it's from seeing other people's journeys on social media and getting preoccupied with, where they're going and the clear vision that people have. And, looking at my situation and be like, I don't know where I'm going. I'm just racing so far away from where I'm going. And that has caused a lot of distress, internal distress of like, doubt, or like maybe I'm on the wrong path, or all this fucking thing. And they say like being on the wrong path and stuff, but recently I have decided that I'm going to continue on the path that I'm on, and I'm going to be okay with the fact. And it's too early to say if this is the right or wrong path. I don't even think there is a right or wrong path. There is only that path. And follow my natural curiosity and ensure that I'm abiding by my values and my morals, and being okay with the fact that maybe this isn't going to be my whole life. Like, real estate, or this professional pursuit might not be my entire life. I'm not going to retire and be a real estate agent or within real estate until I'm 60 or 70, and that's it. Maybe I will, and that's okay. But the only way that I can find that out is by walking the path and climbing the mountain by myself. And I'm taking a lot of comfort in this, because so many times I hear, I got the house, I got the car, I got the job title, I had the material wealth, but it wasn't worth it. You shouldn't, put these at the forefront of what you want. I'm not saying that being the car and the house is forefront, but for me, it's the pursuit within business, within a working sphere, that I am working for somebody else. And I always labeled it as negative, like, I should be setting up my own thing. I should have my own company. I should have, following my own passion and pursuits of the things that I like to do outside of work. So, how can I enter that space and make money? And taking some turmoil and being like, oh yeah, real estate isn't for me, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's taking me away from the present moment. It's taking me away from doing the thing in the current moment in time, in the now, and causing all of this distress. But recently I've become a lot more comfortable with, you know what? I'm going to walk this path. I'm going to milk this fucking thing for what it's worth. I'm going to see how far I can go within this domain, within real estate. I'm going to push the upper limit and see where I actually can go, what I can be of value. How can I help these people here? How can I build something? How can I grow this company? How can I be of more value here? And what is my future career progression only in this company, only in this industry? How far can I go, and how high can I work myself? And that's brought me a lot of peace with the current pursuit. And I've just gotten to terms with, I will only know when I reach the top of the mountain. So it's fine you telling me that, the house wasn't worth it. It's fine you telling me that the money wasn't worth it. The pursuit wasn't worth it. The car isn't worth it. The title isn't worth it. But you're standing at the top of the mountain. I'm halfway up. The wind is blowing in my face. I take a slip down and I'm putting my hand back, and you're telling me, yeah, Brian, it's not worth it. Don't come up here. Don't come up here. It's not worth it. The view isn't worth it. You won't like the view. Don't bother. Turn around. Turn around. I know you're kind of a quarter way up the mountain, but you know what? To pack it in. Turn around. Go up that other mountain over there. It's far easier. Go up that other mountain there. It seems far more, in line with who you are. So, and instead of me being like, yeah, you know what? You're right. This mountain, I don't like this mountain. This mountain, this isn't what it's meant to be. The guy at the top is telling me that the view is not what it's like supposed to be. So I'm just gonna, reverse down this mountain and go over there. But instead, because in my life I'm trying to look for these other mountains and I can't fucking find them. I'm just on this one mountain being like, people keep telling me this isn't the right mountain. I'm telling myself that this isn't the right mountain, which is probably more important. I'm looking around for these other paths, these other mountains, and they're just not existent. They're just not there. So I'm left with this kind of, and I'm still climbing it, and I'm not finding enjoyment out of it. But recently, I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking climb up there, and then I'll find out. And then I'll find out for myself. Then I'll look around and be able to see the view. And at the top, I'll probably be able to see the other mountains that I can climb. But what I'm going to do is double down, that I'm going to climb harder, that I'm going to climb faster, that I'm going to commit myself to this climb and climb to the top of the mountain, and I'll be up there. And at that point, then I can be like, yeah, he was right. Yeah, the climb really wasn't worth it, it's not what it's all, this view isn't that great. But at least I'll be like, well, now I know. Now I know. Because I would always wonder, if I quit, if I back down the mountain, I wonder what would have happened. I wonder what the view was like on that mountain. I wonder. So I'm going to climb this mountain. I'm going to walk this path. I'm going to commit myself fully to this company, to this industry. I'll get to the top of the mountain, which I'm confident that I will, by the way. And I'll take a look at the view. And then from there, I'll see. Because I'm only young. I'm only 25. And I think I can get up this mountain quite fast. And when I get up there, then I will have the resources. I will have the experience. I will have all of that to be like, yeah, maybe it's time to climb another mountain. Or maybe it's just time to go into a mountain that's similar to this and get up to the view of that mountain and then see. Maybe that's what life is about. But I think only hindsight's going to be able to show you. Is life just climbing mountains to see what the view is like? And I don't think any of them will be just right. Me romanticizing the fact that if I did this thing, I would absolutely love it. It's just like, I think there will be a lot within that I wouldn't enjoy. So what that will give me, and how will that benefit me, and how it could benefit you, and being okay with the mountain that you're climbing, is it won't feel like the wind is blowing in your face. It won't feel like that the ground is slippy. It won't feel like that you really have to grip very hardly to get up this mountain. That the wind will die down, that it will be far easier to walk. That you won't have to grip that hard, and that you'll be confident that you'll get there and then look around, because it has caused me to grip so hard and feel like that I'm, swimming upstream or going with the wind against my face, and whatever you want to call it, but it feels far more difficult internally than it should. And I'm not saying it's difficult in a sense of the job. I'm not, but it's just the internal well-being, my internal state of like my perceived feelings around this or my perceived exertion. Even like this has struck such a chord with me recently that I have changed my background on my phone to a man, anybody who's watching this on YouTube, a man who is looking up at a mountain, at the bottom of the mountain. And for me, what that symbolizes is I won't be able to know until I get to the peak of that mountain what the view will look like. Down here, I can see the peak. Down here, the view is different. Down here, it looks like a long path. But I won't know until I'm up there. No amount of photos, no amount of videos, no amount of people telling me what the view is like up there is going to give me a good idea of what it is like. Not until I'm up there will I see for myself. Let me see first. Let me walk the path. Let me climb the mountain. And then I will find out for myself. And then I'll look around and be like, yeah, maybe this is it. Maybe this is not it. But I won't know. Only hindsight will be able to tell me. And I think that's an important message for anybody who's listening to these podcasts or watching these reels or whatever, being like of people renouncing their material desires and renouncing the path that they were on and being like, I did the thing, I got the thing, I walked that, I had the millions in my bank, I had the title, I had the house, but it's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. So now when I hear or see that, I'm just laughing. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna fucking find out for myself though. It should be a disclaimer when anybody says that. It was gonna be a disclaimer for me. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out, and then I'll tell you. But when I get to the top of the mountain, I'm gonna tell other people, yeah, I mean, it was not the right mountain, but you need to find out for yourself. You need to find out for yourself. So I think by the end of 2025, the position in which where I am at on the mountain, what might be different, will be 100% be different. 100% be different. I'm excited to see what the end of 2025 will bring, but I'm confident by the end of 2025, then I will be at a different stage completely. And I'll keep continuing to chase the pursuits professionally and physically that I'm on. I'll keep at the same tempo that I am, but looking towards the things that brought me fulfillment and joy and peace and quiet and solitude and growth, internal self-discovery more, and try and fit that into my schedule and potentially take the foot off the gas in some other aspect and integrate the whole thing together. So that was my week, my past 2 weeks. A lot actually happened, and a big overarching lesson learned and spoke about, and me speaking this into existence just repeated it for me, and hearing it back the second time has given me more assurance and certainty of, okay, now I know what I'm doing. Now I fucking know what I'm doing, and I'm not doubting myself, and this is my plan, and this is how I'm going to get there, and this is what I'm worth. That's essentially it. Another podcast in 2 weeks' time, recapping my time in Bali over the next 2 weeks. So if you've enjoyed this episode, if any of these episodes, even from the very beginning, I know some people have, within the real estate space, have been listening to the first 19 episodes, which are real estate orientated. If any of them resonate with you, and if you don't know me, or if we haven't connected, if we haven't messaged each other, and I don't meet you on a weekly basis, then reach out to me. I would love to connect with some people who are listening to the podcast, who have been listening, or if you've just stumbled across this podcast out of nowhere, you might be in Dubai, you might be around the world, you might be only listening to a few first episodes about real estate and you stumble across this being like, what the fuck? And how did this fella go from real estate to a joint podcast to a solo podcast? How did that happen? So if anybody's listening, then I would really love if you reached out, and if this resonated with you, please do let me know and share it with somebody who it might resonate with, because I already know somebody in my life that I'm going to ask to listen to this because they might find it of value, and I would love to hear their opinions, pros and cons about the whole episode. Anyways, that is essentially it for me this week. Thank you very much if you've listened this far, and I will see you in the next one.